Our critical issue for our group is whether special needs students should be included in the traditional classroom. And first off, I wanted to give a little bit of history behind why students are allowed to be in the traditional classroom. Um, Before certain laws were passed in the US, children with special needs were often forced to be educated at home, or they were exiled from schools because they had special needs. Schools looked at them as, no, you're going to put our scores down, no, this is too much of a challenge to educate. So students were often just turned away from schools, which left them to either drop out or not attend school, or basically nothing good came out of it. It was not until two major laws were passed that allowed for children with special needs to be taught in the public school system alongside their peers. And these laws were the Handicapped Children Act, Education for All Handicapped Children Act, and the Individuals with Disabilities Act. And basically, the EHA established a right to public education for all children regardless of the disability, and the IDEA required schools to provide individualized or special education for children with qualifying disabilities. Basically, under that law, all schools that accept public funds for education must provide special education to qualifying children with disabilities. So if the school is receiving funds, then they must do their part and give the quality education to the child. The focal point of these laws was to ensure that all students were given an equal opportunity for a quality education. Today in schools, because of the 2001 No Child Left Behind Act, schools are, giving education to all children regardless of their needs, but it is also a controversial act because due to this act, there are a lot of repercussions on education of young children. Basically, under this act, this is why all the high stakes testing has come about, FCAT, all those types of testing, where basically teachers are forced to teach to the test, and no matter the child's disability, they have to be on grade level or they, do not pass. And you can tell why it would be controversial. Now I'm going to go into some of the positive effects of mainstreaming these children. One of the major positive effects that even I agree with is that children do get the socialization with their peers that they need. When children with special needs are just around other children with special needs, they kind of miss out on some of the pure social skills that all the other children are getting. So not only are they behind cognitively, but they're also behind socially. They'll get a feel for the mainstream classroom, which is important. And inclusion is kind of good, where people come in to the mainstream and help give assistance to those students. So they're getting their assistance, but they're also getting the social aspect. But I am arguing that children should not be mainstreamed, and I think there are a lot of reasons why they should not be. Basically, these children learn on a totally different level than mainstream children, than, higher functioning students. And I don't think it is fair not only to these special needs students, but to the higher functioning students to, be learning the same concepts. Because special needs students are going to be, a lot of the time on a lower level than these students. So I feel like there may be curriculums being crammed down their throat that they're not ready for, and the higher functioning students, it's too easy for them. So I think there's too much divide for them to be included in one classroom. Also, these students can get lost in a classroom. I mean, there's so much going on in a regular ed classroom that they just can't process. So I don't think it is fair for them to be in a classroom with students who are able, to hold their own conversations independently, to work independently, because these are skills that they do not have, and it can be frustrating. And also, some of these special needs are, kids that are deaf, kids that, have vision problems, autistic, Asperger's, anything like that, where they're just not able to communicate in the way that the other students are. So I don't think that it's fair, and it can be very frustrating for students with special needs when they're expected to socialize with their peers, but they just don't have the cognitive ability to. And I don't think that we're doing anything for those students who need that extra support and are just not there yet in their abilities. So basically, there are benefits to mainstreaming, but I think there are way more downfalls to mainstreaming that need to be addressed. And I think that these students need more focus from their teachers. They need smaller class sizes, with just a few kids where they can get the attention, get the support and structure that they need in order to succeed. And I don't think that they're going to be able to get that in a mainstream classroom.